Good morning, everyone. Let us have this lesson. Module 2, Quarter 1, Science 7, Part 1. Elements are like spices. When mixed together, they become better. Okay? So this is the first part, Module 2, Science 7, Quarter 1. And this is yours truly, Christopher and Sajada, your Science 7 teacher. Before we proceed, let us pray. Dear God, I pray for everyone currently feeling weak, broken, and lost. I pray that they will find their strength and purpose in you. Guide them through this day and renew their hope and strength. Amen. Let's proceed. What I need to know. Look around you. It is amazing that you're able to witness the beauty of the environment. Did you know that everything that you see is matter? I know that you do. It is anything that occupies space, has a mass and volume. It is a chemical substance that can transform into one state. A chemical substance is a matter that has a definite composition and the same composition throughout. In this module, you will find out that substance may further classified into two. We have the elements and compounds. Surely you will understand how elements distinguished from compounds based on the set of properties, and you will able to recognize the presence of these elements in different food labels as minerals. Let's have the objectives. After going through this module, you are expected to describe the characteristic of an element and compound, distinguish elements from compounds based on set of properties, and lastly, classify substances as either element or compound. Let's move on. So let's have this one. So what I know. Which of the following is the simplest form of substance? Chemical formula, compound, element, or mixture? Okay, let us show the correct answer. Okay, it's letter C, and that is element. Very good. Let's proceed. Which of the following is not an example of compound? A. Ammonia, helium gas, hydrogen peroxide, or table sugar? Go. Okay, let us see the correct answer. It's letter B. Very good. It is helium gas. And let's have this. Number 3. Which of the following statements is true about elements and compounds? They are homogeneous in nature, simplest form of matter, and they are commonly naturally occurring materials, and they can be broken down into simpler substances. Okay, let us show the answer. What do you think? It is letter A. They are homogeneous in nature. Remember always that. Okay, let's have number 4. Which of the following substance is an element? A. Carbon dioxide, iron, salt, sugar. Okay, let's show the correct answer. It's letter B, and that is iron. Okay, so iron. Let's have number 5. Which of the following describes an element? Simple substance. It can be broken down into other types of substances. It can be separated through chemical process, or it is composed of 2 or more types of atoms. Okay, let's show the answer. It's letter E. Element is the simplest substance. Okay, so let's proceed with items 6 to 10. You're going to tell whether the given substance is an element or a compound. Here we are. Okay, for number 6, aluminum. What do you think? Is it an element or a compound? Okay, so let's reveal. It is element. Very good. How about mercury? I can hear you. And that is element. Very good. How about ferrous sulfate? Is it an element or a compound? Okay, it is a compound. How about sucrose? Is it an element or a compound? Okay, that's correct. It is a compound. How about the last one? Carbon. I can hear you. Okay, that is correct also. Carbon is an element. Okay, so we are through with this review. Let's move on. Here is our lesson proper. Lesson 1. We're going to talk about the characteristics of elements and compounds. What's in? Hello, my dear friend. You are already done in identifying substances such as homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. I know it is hard to distinguish substances based on their appearances. Remember that. There are many ways to identify them because these substances may be classified as elements and compounds. Remember, elements have unique properties and characteristics from the others. We have a visitor from our central laboratory. This is a scenario. She is Professor Elimena, an expert in all the elements and compounds surrounding us. She knows how to deal with especially some lost elements and compounds, but she needs our help in finding those elements and compounds as soon as possible to avoid leakage. While she is with us, let's help her make our campus free from chemical hazards. Let's go. Okay, so let's have this poem. Okay, the title is The Lost Element by J.P. Cadalem Valera. I think I was lost. My home is too far at any cost. I am tired finding home made of lead so that solar radiation will not anymore be spread. The heat from sun makes me float like helium inside a balloon that makes it bloat. As I go far, I feel numbed and bursting, like a bullet powder made of potassium nitrate that makes us shaking. I hope I can go home now. I feel my lungs did not function somehow. Hope oxygen will fill me completely before carbon dioxide will be mine totally. As I walk in the lonely road above the mountains, it is sad to see land mined of gold and copper be broken. This shows how the environment suffered much every day. Hope my home will be back with me again like a brand new day. My body is already in pain and drained with essential elements from water made up of hydrogen and oxygen. I want to quench my thirst soon to fast track the lost element which is my home. So this is by J.P. Cadalem Valera. Okay, let's move on. What are the elements and compounds stated in the poem or the poem? Okay, let's proceed with the elements first. Elements, we have lead, helium, oxygen, gold, copper, hydrogen, and let's have our compounds. It was stated there that there is a potassium nitrate and carbon dioxide. So these are the elements and compounds stated in the poem. Okay. What's new? In the previous activity, we identified different compounds. Compound is composed of elements. Can you identify the elements found in a given set of compounds below? Write the elements in the boxes below. Okay, let's try number 1. Carbon dioxide is composed of simply carbon. And the other one is oxygen. Very good. How about potassium nitrate? Potassium nitrate composed of elements potassium. Very good. Next is nitrogen, and we missed oxygen. So potassium, nitrogen, and oxygen being combined chemically, we can have the product called potassium nitrate. Ito yung ginagamit, guys, sa mga pampaputok. Okay? So let's move on. What is it? Okay. So this is a discussion. Elements and compounds are all around us. Elements, as defined, are made up of atom or atoms of the same kind. They are the simplest type of matter and cannot be broken down into components. Each element is made entirely from one type of atom. Each element is unique, and no two elements have the same set of properties. Some are in the same state, but they have different properties. Some elements are metals like iron, gold, and silver. Others are non-metals like nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. There are elements that are metalloids like boron, silicon, and germanium. Let's talk about compounds. Compounds are a combination of two or more elements like water, which is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. How about salt, which is made up of sodium and chlorine? And also we have rusts. It was formed when an iron reacts with oxygen. Okay? Compounds can be broken down into its components through a chemical process and formed when two elements are being combined. It has unique properties that are different from the properties of the elements that make them up. Okay, let's proceed. Can you name new metallic elements and set of compounds that is not found in the selection above or a while ago? We can write it here in the box. So let's have elements. So we have fluorine, that is an element. Silicon, neon, magnesium, sodium, lithium, chlorine, and even phosphorus. They are also elements. How about compounds? We have ammonia. So you know ammonia. Nitric acid, calcium carbonate that is found in vitamin C, ethanol that is used in making alcohol, sulfur dioxide, acetic acid, and acetate. So it's very clear that elements and compounds in this slide was discussed with you. And there are so many examples which are not in the given poem that we can find everywhere around us as elements and compounds. Let's move on. What's more? Using the Venn diagram, describe the characteristics of elements and compounds. Okay, so let's have the answer. Are you ready? Okay, so this is a Venn diagram. It is a process, an approach, wherein you can relate the difference and similarity of two substances. For this times, we have elements and compounds. So as you can see, the left part of the symbol or the drawing for elements are the difference. Also, on the right side of the part of compound, also discuss the difference between the elements and compounds. At an atom middle, there is the so-called union. So these are true with elements and compounds. So let's have the difference muna. Let's have for elements. Elements, pure substances. It can be found in a periodic table. Take note, 92 of these can be found free in our environment. And the smallest part of this is called atom. While on the compounds, it was made from two or more different elements. It was formed through chemical reaction. And the smallest part of this is called molecule. And at the middle, it is same, both for element and compound. Meaning to say, they are true with element and compound. They are made of atoms, yes. And they are essential for life, and it can be found in nature. So that is the explanation for our Venn diagramming, comparing and contrasting elements and compounds. Can you follow? I hope you can follow now. And it was very clear for you to compare and contrast elements from compounds. Okay, let's move on. What I have learned. Okay, let's have the directions. Read the paragraph and identify the correct words that fit in the given sentences inside the box. Write your answer in a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so you're given box there or your options and a statement below. So let's fill in. Okay, what do you think for number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12? Okay, can we go now? Elements and compounds are all around us, yes. Blank are made up of atom or atoms of the same kind. That is, elements. They are the simplest type of matter and cannot be broken down into components. That's true. Each element is made entirely from blank type of atom. And that is one type of atom. Very good. Each element is unique and no two elements have the same set of blank. That is properties. Very good. Some are in the same state, but they have blank properties. Yes, different. That's correct. Some elements are like iron, gold, and silver. They're example of what? They're called metals. Others are like nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. They are non-metal. There are elements that are blank like boron, silicon, and germanium. And that is metalloids. Okay, remember that. Blank are combination of blank or blank elements like water, which is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen. That is compounds, combination of two or more. Okay, salt made of sodium, rust, and also compounds can be broken down into its components through an oxygen. Okay, so number 12, process. So it is called the chemical process. Okay, so let's complete the statement or the paragraph. Elements and compounds are all around us. Elements are made up of an atom or atoms of the same kind. They are the simplest type of matter that cannot be broken down into components. Each element is made entirely from one type of atom. Each element is unique, and no two elements have the same set of properties. Some are in the same state, but they have different properties. Some elements are metal, like iron, gold, silver. Others are non-metals, like nitrogen, oxygen, and hydrogen. There are elements that are metalloids like boron, silicon, and germanium. Compounds are combination of two or more elements like water, which is combination of hydrogen and oxygen. Salt, which is made up of sodium and chlorine. Rusts, formed when an ion reacts with oxygen. And compounds can be broken down into its components through the so-called chemical process and formed when the two elements are combined together. It has unique properties that are different from the properties of elements that make them up. Okay, very clear. So let's have the learning activity number 1. What can I do? Look and bring any food label. Paste your chosen food product label in the box. Identify which of the substances are being classified as elements and compounds. From the contained compounds, choose 3 and determine the constituent elements. Okay, here is an example. So this is called the food product label or the so-called nutrition facts. Okay, you can do that. Okay, we have also the assignment as additional activities. This time you will engage and have your immersion as a garbage collector. Inside the garbage bin, our words need to be thrown at the dump site. As a garbage collector, you need to save the following word that describes and shows relationships with elements and compounds. Segregate them by writing it in the boxes. So we're going to check this in our next meeting. So you're given the garbage bin and the dump site. Okay, so it's very, very easy. So with this, we end our first part of the lesson for Module 2, Quarter 1. Okay, this is Sir Topper at your service. Thank you and good morning.